Bellator went head to head with the UFC on Saturday night. They were a little late, so had to watch like some of the first parts on delay. I got to watch the main event and the co-main event live. It was Bellator's first international event, and it took place in Torino, Italy. And Patricky Pitbull Freire easily outfought a really passive Kevin Souza to earn a unanimous decision victory in the feature fight. Patricky was poised and controlled. He took the openings that Souza gave him, which wasn't much. But Souza just never really looked to set up any power shots at all. Instead, he just seemed content to let Patricky land the occasional strike. In the past, Pitbull has rushed in looking for a stoppage, and he's gotten himself into trouble that way. In recent fights, he's been much more careful and controlled. One of the really signature knockouts he's had recently is he just destroyed Ryan Couture. Randy Couture. I knew I was going to say Randy Couture. Ryan Couture, and just decimated him with one shot. But he did it really, like I said, with a lot of poise. And he came out with a similar approach, and Kevin Souza just didn't give him the opportunity. So he did what he had to do. It was a really boring fight, though, because of that dynamic. Luckily, the co-main event was not. Alicio Saqqara is an absolute Italian MMA legend, and if you need any proof of that, the evidence was in the volume from the crowd when Saqqara came out with his cage walk. I mean, he came out to everybody was kung fu fighting, so it was really dope. The crowd went crazy. The Italian fans only got louder every time Saqqara came even close to landing a shot on Brian Rogers. I thought the first round was pretty close, but Rogers, I thought he took it because of he had, I think, 2 takedowns or 1 takedown. In either case, he kept Saqqara on his back for almost the entire round, so it was pretty nasty. In the second round, though, Saqqara rebounded because Rogers just looked like he was totally gassed. Everything he did was slower, and Saqqara had far better conditioning. He landed a huge right hand right above Brian Rogers' right ear, and then Rogers was wobbled as Saqqara landed another right hand that sent him to the canvas. Crowd went crazy, and Saqqara had a nice victory. He had a cool interview also through a interpreter. But yeah, he did a good job. He's not a, we don't even know if he's going to continue to fight. He said that he would be interested in doing it if he could fight in Italy whenever he fights. He's not a serious contender at 205 pounds. I mean, literally, there's nowhere in the world you could see him lasting longer than 40 seconds in the cage with Liam McGeary. But there's no doubt he can still fill up a stadium of MMA fans in his home country. So Bellator may be interested in keeping him around just for that. He's an automatic draw if they decide to go back to Italy. So we'll see what happens with that. In another fight on the card, a phenomenal AJ McKee, 20 years old. He's a Bellator featherweight, and he wants you to know that he has the key to what people call a lockdown division, which is the featherweight division in Bellator. Man, this kid's good. On Saturday, I thought he had no problem solving the Milan's Danilo Belluardo. Belluardo, his fans were there, and they were trying to be loud for him, but it didn't matter, man. McKee went to 4-0. This was a first-round TKO. He even had to shake off a low blow. So shook off a low blow, came back like a beast, and wasted no time taking Belluardo out. Just destroyed him. The finish was pretty brutal. He talks like a guy who is seemingly ready for the challenge in Bellator's featherweight division, but in reality, he's probably about 2 or 3 fights away from being ready for the best 145 pounders that even Bellator has to offer. So we'll see what happens with him in regards to that. Also on the card, we saw Anastasia Yankova take care of Arahela Pink. Yankova is a really big time up and coming fighter for Bellator. They're trying to make her like their signature female fighter, so to speak, and she had an impressive win by armbar in the first round. I felt it was low level obviously Pink she wouldn't even be able to sniff the UFC basically. Yankova has some work to do. still a little bit rough around the edges here and there, but she definitely has some work to do. But she is talented, so we'll see what happens. And another fight that was the only other fight that was televised, I believe, was Danielle Miceli against Danielle Scatizzi. Scatizzi took the fight via TKO in the first round. That also, I felt, was a little low-level fight. You know, it's, I don't know. I don't want to be overly critical of because here it's like this. We know what we're getting with the lower level fights in Bellator. You know, for the most part, you're only going to see really high level fighters in the first 3 fights. You know, that's just being honest. You know, but Scatizzi, you know, he was impressive. I do give him that. All you can do is ask him to be good in the fight that he's in, and he did that. I mean, can I see him competing on a high level later on, even in Bellator? I don't know. I don't think so. I think he was an Italian fighter. So was Miceli, and they were there to, you know, help sell the fight to the Italian fans. And that's what he did. Sunk in both hooks and just pretty much dropped unanswered strikes down on Miceli until Big John McCarthy, it was weird. Big John McCarthy, I think he works with Bellator a little bit more than UFC nowadays. I'm trying to remember the last UFC fight I saw him ref. At any case, Scatizzi, who is from Rome, so he was right at home in the fight. But Miceli's from Italy as well. But Scatizzi took the win, and he looked dominant in the process. So we'll see what happens with more international events for Bellator. I thought this one went over pretty well, but the presentation definitely had a different look. One thing I'll give the UFC is, even when the fights happen in other countries, they're still able to maintain their signature look. That really didn't happen with Bellator Torino. So we'll see. I can't say it was a detraction, but I think from their standpoint, they're going to probably want their product to look the same all the time. So maybe a little bit of work that needs to be done there. I appreciate you watching nonetheless. God bless. Peace.